Welcome to Stevie's Kitchen. I got a game day favorite. It's kind of just a favorite, but we're making pizza and sourdough pizza at that tonight in Stevie's Kitchen. Make sure you stay tuned. So now I'm gonna get started on this sourdough pizza crust. I've been working on this crust for, I'm not even lying, a year. And I think I finally got it right. So we're gonna start with 1 cup of warm water. I take room temp water and put it in the microwave for about 25 seconds. You don't want your water to be too hot because you're going to add some yeast in this. And if it's too hot, it'll kill the yeast. If it's too cold, it won't activate it. And with that warm water, I got 2 tablespoons of sugar. Going to throw in here. See, the sugar is actually going to feed your yeast and it's going to allow it to rise a little bit better. You're just going to whisk in that 2 tablespoons of sugar. Then I have 1 packet of instant yeast. Then I'm just going to pour all the way in. I'm going to get a whisk on this, and then we're going to let this sit for 10 minutes. Once you start smelling that yeast smell and you look in here and it's all bubbly, then you'll know it's ready to go. So now that it's gotten nice and frothy, we're going to take our cup of sourdough discard right into the mixture as well. Now that we got the sourdough in here, we're just gonna give it a nice little whisk, make sure everything's incorporated. All right, now, so let's get our stand mixer out. In here, I have 3 cups and 3 1/8 cup of 0.00 flour. I like 0.00 flour because it has a better stretch point. It's gonna make a tighter dough. And then whenever it goes into the oven, you're going to get that nice chew. I like it better. You can use all purpose and you can use bread flour, but personally I like the 0.00 when I do my pastas and my pizzas. Anything else, it just doesn't measure up. Then we're going to do about 1.5 tablespoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Then after you get all that in there, we're going to fit it with our dough hook. Lock it into place, turn it on. In about 7 minutes, you come back and it's a nice shiny elastic ball that's pulled away from the sides. You know your dough's ready. The thing about this dough, it's actually a 48-hour dough. So you do kind of have to plan ahead whenever you do this. So right now, after we just mixed it all together, as you can see, it's all together. I'm gonna take a little bit of oil, put it into the bowl. Just kind of pull this dough off our dough hook. See how easily it comes off? That's how you know you're good to go. I'm just going to kind of roll this up into a tight little ball. And then it's just going to go in here. I'm going to cover this with plastic, put it in the fridge for 24 hours. And after 24 hours, I'm going to divide it in half, cover it again, put it back in the fridge for 24 hours. And then after that, you're ready to go. Just make sure you put it on your counter at least 2 hours before it's time to use so it can get to room temp and be easier to work with. So now we're going to get started on this pizza sauce. So right here, I have 1 can of 15 ounces of crushed tomatoes. And we're going to put in 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of oregano. Dried or fresh, whatever you prefer. I have dried, so I'm using dry. A teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Just a little bit of chili flake. I don't want to say 1/2 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of onion powder. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. A pinch of salt. And about a teaspoon of sugar. I put the sugar in there to kind of take that little acidic bite away, make it a smoother pizza sauce. And then we're just gonna get a nice little whisk on this, make sure we get that oil and tomato sauce incorporated. And then I'm gonna add in half onion. And I have 3 cloves of garlic that have been diced up that I'm gonna put in here as well. Also, during my pizza journey, I have found that not cooking the sauce like I used to do makes for a fresher sauce overall whenever I bake it into the pizza. It just gives it a nice lighter flavor to the pizza. So that's why I like to use a non-cooked sauce with just fresh veggies or fresh onions and fresh garlic. So I went ahead and I actually prepared ahead of time. So I have half of that dough that you saw me make earlier. This is what it looks like after 48 hours of proof time. Been sitting on the counter for 2 hours, and I was ready to go. So we're just gonna get in here. As you can see, it's nice soft dough. So I went ahead on my parchment paper earlier and I drew an outline of my pizza stone in the oven. So I put this in the middle of it and I'm just gonna slowly massage the dough out to get to all the corners and just slowly expand this. So now I'm just going through this edge being extra right now, just making sure I have a nice crust. So once you have your pizza rolled out into a circle, best you can, doesn't have to be perfect. We're just gonna start building this pizza. I'm gonna make a traditional sausage and pepperoni pizza. Let's go in here with my sauce. I've also found I personally don't like to add too much sauce to my pizza because it will add a little bit more moisture into the dough. And I like a good chewy but crisp dough. So too much sauce, I have noticed, won't allow that for me. Sauce on, then I like to put my sausage on next. I put my sausage on underneath the cheese because when you put it on top of the cheese, it burns a little bit and nobody wants burnt sausage. So next, we're gonna put on our cheese. There's some shredded mozzarella. How you put your toppings on your pizza is all up to you. This is just how I'm doing mine. You can put whatever you want on top of this pizza, but sauce goes down first, then I like cheese. Now the last thing I'm gonna add is our pepperonis. As I'm putting on these pizza toppings and finishing up here, I'll say I single-handedly kept the Papa John's in Oakland, California in business my rookie year. I think I ordered more pizzas from there than anyone should. With that being said, as much as I love Papa John's, you're gonna love this one more. And another thing that I do that I was telling you guys about earlier is the parchment paper. I know you guys see a lot of times the people on with the little scoops and they do it all in there all fancy and stuff. I have that, but when I'm inside, I kind of just like the parchment paper. I can transfer it right to the stone. It's still gonna just get the same type of heat. You're still gonna get that same crispy bottom. It's just a lot easier to move on here. And it's a lot less cleanup at the end of the day. So, something you can think about. One last thing, we're gonna get a little drizzle of olive oil over top. And just a little sprinkle of salt. Then from here, we're into the oven now. We're at the oven at 500 on top of a pizza stone for 8 minutes, and then it'll be ready to go. Now that the pizza's out the oven, I got some fresh basil that I've ribboned that I'm just gonna sprinkle over top of it. Again, this is how I wanna do my pizza. You can do your pizza however you want to, but I have a pepperoni and sausage pizza with a little bit of fresh basil. And then to bring it all together, I got some Mike's hot honey that I'm just gonna drizzle over top. All right, since this is what people like to do, right? So you know what we're working with. Let's get in here and get this cut on. I mean, Portnoy, Michigan brother. That's not bad flop. One bite, you guys all know the rules. I'm just waiting for this to cool down a little bit. It's still a little hot. I'm not trying to burn my mouth. I love y'all, but I don't love y'all that much. Still too hot. But I'll eat this pizza every day of the week. The crust has plenty of flavor. That sauce isn't overpowering. I mean, honestly, it's what you want to top it with. But the crust is the main part. And the sourdough crust eats so light after 48 hours for fermenting in there. It's just breaking down all that gluten. So whenever you bite into this, like, you really don't realize that you're actually eating a full pizza. And that's the beauty of this. Any game day, you can probably eat this whole thing to yourself, or you can share. Depends on how you want to do, but make sure you make this.